Oh yeah, g'day. Welcome back. Once again out at beautiful Kahutarawa Reserve, and today, as you might have guessed from the video title, I'm looking at an Aliexpress hammock and tarp setup. This setup is designed to be basically everything you could possibly need to get set up and go camping. It gives you the hammock, the suspension, the tarp, pegs, guy lines, basically everything except for, sleeping bag, underquilt, cook gear, and the usual other stuff that you take with you. But as far as a hammock setup goes, this is supposed to have everything. It was fairly inexpensive, far cheaper than you'd normally pay for any other hammock system. So today we're going to see how good it is and how it stacks up. So first thing is the hammock bag, which has got the suspension straps in it, and here we have the tarp, which apparently, according to the description on Aliexpress, is 3 meters by 3 meters. And here's the small bag of pegs. They give you 6 aluminium Y configuration stakes, which, to be perfectly honest, is actually better than you get with far more expensive setups like my DD tarps. Neither of them came with pegs anywhere near this good. It has come with those little L-shaped steel things, so not bad actually. Okay, here's a photograph that I took at home comparing the tarp and hammock with the other hammocks and the other 3 meter by 3 meter tarps, just for a size comparison. So this tarp on the left there is considerably smaller than the other ones when packed up, so we'll see how that goes. The hammock itself seems to be fairly comparable with the One Wind or Ticket to the Moon as far as pack size goes. So we'll see how that looks. So let's get this set up, put it up, and we'll have a look at it. Okay, so here's the tarp. According to my trusty tape measure, it's indeed 3 meters along the ridge line, and it's just short of 3 meters wide, which is to say from the centre tie out here to the bottom corner here is a bit less than 1.50 meters. Looking at the back of the tarp, you can see that it does not appear to be PU coated. The reinforcement on the tabs is nowhere near as good as some of the other tarps. There are also fewer tie-out tabs. There seems to be absolutely no taping or sealing on the stitched ridge line. So this is not a particularly waterproof tarp. Might be good in a small shower, or just to keep cold wind off, but in reality I was half expecting that I'd be wanting to replace the tarp with one with more tie-outs anyway, so that's not a major problem. No central tie-out or any panel poles on the sides. So its relatively lightweight construction explains why it's so much smaller when packed up than the other 3 meter by 3 meter tarps. Okay, here are the straps that came with it. They are supposed to be daisy chains, but unfortunately the majority of it is just strap, and there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops into which you could put your carabiner. And these two trees are too far apart for these straps to reach the hammock from each end. That's not too much of a problem because I'm about to break out some supplies that I brought along. As regular watchers would know, I recently made some purchases from One Wind, including getting their whoopee sling sets. Of course, I bought 2. So now, with this rather small and somewhat ineffectual daisy chain wrapped around the tree to bring them up higher, and my whoopee slings attached close to the tree, we'll try putting up the hammock. So now we have the whoopee slings set up and hooked to the hammock. The carabiners they supply with the hammock seem quite robust. They haven't got any ratings printed on them, but they don't look like they're going anywhere. It has stitched webbing straps at the ends rather than the usual continuous loops made of Dyneema. There are unfinished stray strands of thread left over from the sewing, with wisps of thread hanging out all over the place. They seem to be double stitched along, or in this case triple stitched, and triple stitched here at the end where the loops are made for the gather is made. So there. Now, of course, it's got a built-in bug net with a zip. However, the zip is only on one side, which means that you can't open up both sides of the zip and remove the bug net completely. That being said, it does enable you to open the entire side up. Just means that you have to be mindful which way round you put the ends. You wouldn't want the zip side to be placed facing the wind, or the side of the tarp that you're covering up. You'd want it out where you can get into it easily. Of course, there's no structural ridgeline on this hammock, and it would definitely be improved by one, which is why I spent yesterday making one. So now here's the hammock, complete with the new structural ridgeline. I just made it with some 3mm Dyneema cord. It's got a berry of at least 3.5 fid lengths there. And down here we've got an end loop Brummel locked and about 2 fids worth of tapered cord buried inside there. And that helps keep the sag consistent regardless of where and when you've hung it. Okay, so we've now got it hung up with the structural ridgeline running overhead, and seems to be fairly secure and stable. It's holding my not inconsiderable weight. Can't hear anything ripping or feel anything giving, which is always a good sign, but never hang further than you're prepared for. Now we'll try out lying in it and see how it looks. Well, it's certainly wide enough to get a nice, fairly flat diagonal lay in the hammock. It actually doesn't give as much as some of the other hammocks, and I'm wondering whether or not it's polyester rather than nylon, because this has got very little stretch in it. Not that I'd be complaining if it was polyester. Quite like polyester as a fabric. The bug net tends to lie on your face. It needs something to lift it up. And what this hammock would also go quite nice with is some kind of gear organiser up in here as well. So we need some means of lifting the bug net off the face and suspending a gear organiser. You know that was rhetorical, right? And I already have an answer. So now we have a bit of cord running underneath there, and courtesy of our dear friends over at One Wind, we have yet another One Wind ridgeline organiser in place. And down this end I'll just put a modified midshipman's hitch on there to tighten it up or loosen it as required, since we don't want it tearing the tabs at the end or putting undue strain on the fabric of the hammock. It's just to hold this cord to keep the bug net up out of the way, and to hold a net, a ridgeline organiser to put your phone, glasses or anything else like that in there. Now, bug net's on your face, got a place, stow the glasses, out of the way to move it up and down along the ridgeline. Hey pup! Hello pup! Cute puppy, have we? Well, that was an interesting visit. Another thing I bought from Aliexpress were these hiking poles. So, trying them out for the day. They have cam locks rather than usual screw locks. They seem to lock firmly enough. They've got the hand grip up there, plus they've got a secondary hand grip lower down. So you can move from there down to there if you so desire. And these wrist straps look very comfortable and are well made, not the usual cheap thing. It came with an assortment of baskets and rubber feet. I've got the mud baskets on at the moment. But anyway, we'll try these out. And by try them out, of course I mean set up the tarp in porch mode using the aforementioned walking sticks. What, you thought I was going to go for a walk? Gotta be crazy. Kids will actually enjoy them quite nicely because this is for when we do go on hikes, and they do look like very, very nice poles. Of course, on cold nights you're going to want a underquilt, so here we have the Subito underquilt that I've purchased from Aliexpress recently. And that seems to work quite nicely with the cheap hammock or inexpensive hammock. So that was our little play with the Aliexpress hammock set, and as a bit of a recap, the tarp does not seem to be up to the standard, doesn't look waterproof, is not taped or seam sealed, does not seem to have any PU coating on the back, so at the best it's showerproof, and it certainly lacks enough tie outs, but that's not too much of a problem because there are a number of readily accessible tarps around the place. The hammock itself is not bad. It seems to hold up to the strain. It's quite comfy, definitely large enough to sleep in. It turns out there was a length of shock cord inside the bag, which is for running from end to end to hold up the bug net, which of course we didn't use because we were putting up a length of cord instead. And the suspension straps, not particularly good, but not bad. I mean, they did the job once I attached some whoopee slings to it. The carabiners worked quite nicely. Of course we made a few modifications to it, adding some stuff that I got from One Wind, and that's made it a lot more usable. But as far as modifications go, I have had to modify hammocks far more than that. The DD hammock, I had to replace the suspension system, build a custom structural ridgeline for it, and a number of other modifications done before it was to my liking. So as far as this was concerned, it was a fairly painless conversion of a cheapish, inexpensive hammock from Aliexpress into something that's actually reasonably usable. Anyway, that's it's good night from me, and it's good night from him.